I'm here with Mark Nelson of Rio Grande, and what do you have for us today?
It's called Microfold Brake forming. Actually, it's a technique kind of pioneered and rediscovered by a man named Jack Berry.
Okay.
He brought me this project, so.
Yes, looks interesting.
Yeah, we're going to make a pair of earrings.
All right, let's get started.
Okay. Basically, we're going to start off with some 30 gauge metal. When you're doing his techniques, you want to use thinner gauge metal to do the design work.
So a little more manipulation.
Right. It's 30 gauge copper. It's been annealed, so it's really soft.
And annealing, of course, is
with a torch.
With a torch, okay, getting it softer. Okay.
And we set our microfold brake at about a quarter turn, and we go through, and it's going to come out looking a little bit like cardboard.
Look at that.
Like that.
Huh, like a little accordion.
And it's much stiffer, too.
Oh.
So that's what we start with.
Okay.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to need to mark off what our plan is to do. And we want to do a little dapping and a little crimping. So what I did is I marked off about 7/16 of an inch from the center. Marked off the center and then marked off 7/16 from that. And these are going to be where I actually pinch the metal to create the design.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is we're going to start with that. You do have to use a special pair of pliers. These can be any kind of cheapo pliers or inexpensive ones, because what you want to do is you do want to round off the tips. If they're real sharp, they're going to go through the metal.
Okay.
Okay?
So the pliers have to be rounded.
They do.
Okay.
They do have to be rounded. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to, on our mark, straight up and down, just give it a slight little squeeze. Like that.
Oh.
And we'll do it here too as well. And then I usually come in and do the other side.
Look at that. I could see we can have a lot of fun with this design.
Oh yeah. And on the center, I tend to do just a little bit, come over and do a little bit so they're a little more even.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back over to the other side and try and get back in the same spot.
Perfect.
Now this is called a dap and crimp design. So we're going to put our little dap punch in here.
I was going to say, so that was the crimp.
This is our dap. It's
There's
homemade,
the dap part.
Homemade dap with a nail. We've rounded off the edges. We've picked this nail because it fits almost perfectly right in the center between the things. We're going to use a little mallet and very lightly at first, kind of get it seated. And then once we find the seat,
And you
do
get
a
a little
couple
more
of good
rigorous.
taps.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
And then we'll go over here and do it to the other side. Now, when you do this, you want to do this on a soft surface. Right now, I'm using a thing called urethane.
Okay, that's what that is.
Right. You can see the design on the back.
Oh, it comes with both sides. Perfect.
And what you want to do now is anneal it again.
Okay.
And
Take your torch
and after you get done quenching it, you might get a nice patina.
Yes.
And at this stage, we're going to pretty much stop annealing it, so you can actually keep this patina if you wanted to in your piece.
And what are you doing now?
It's a piece of acrylic that you can see through, and it's nice because it fits right in between the ridges, and you can see what you're doing, and you're going and tapping it flat. And we can go ahead and bend it down. See how it's flattening that out?
Oh, so you just want that crimp just in that area where you crimp and dap it.
Exactly.
And the rest of it, you can, but you still get a little bit of that texturing.
Right. And then we'll flip it over, and we can even do it this way.
Has that really pretty sort of linear design in it.
The nice thing about using the acrylic is you get to see what you're doing.
Good point.
So.
Good point.
And it's still soft, so you can kind of manipulate it however you need to.
Look how cool that looks. It's really pretty.
And then once we do that, we're going to end up with something like this. All the pretty much undecorated parts are going to be flat. And then,
Undecorated, but still lovely. You know, it's so interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now what we want to do is we want to take it from here, and we'll actually cut out the piece however we want. And this case, we're going about 1/8 of an inch to either side. And we want to leave ourselves room for some rivets.
Okay.
Okay. And when we get done with that, we'll end up with something like this.
Wow.
Okay, this is all just done with a pair of shears.
Yeah,
so
just
it's really
cut it
easy
out
to
with the
cut out.
shears. Because you used a softer gauge, smaller gauge, yeah.
And I did take a file at the end and kind of rounded off one edge.
more design.
What you want to do now is you want to go ahead and mark the area for drilling. And it's good we're going to do a rivet. And you start with a center punch.
That went through pretty easily.
It doesn't go through. It's
Oh, it
actually
just makes a little
dent.
indentation. Okay.
Yeah, when you do this, you have to do it on a steel block.
So that's the noise.
If you don't, this could probably punch through. And when that happens, you end up with a really ragged piece of metal.
After all that work, you don't want that.
So you're going to drill your holes for the rivets, and then you're going to prepare your back piece. Okay. For this project, I use a piece of 22 gauge sterling, and marked off the size that I want because it has that nice kind of silver border around there, and it'll still leave me room to drill a hole and put a ear wire or something on there like that.
Bail or something like that, yeah.
And then I'll go ahead and finish this up with a file, finish the edges, and sand it complete because you can't go back and refinish it once you're done.
And then what's next?
What's next is actually, before you put this on, if you want to patina this with a green or a blue, you want to do that first. Because if you stick the silver in the patina, it really messes up the silver. Yeah,
you don't want that. So you want that contrast between the metals. That's perfect. Let's take a look at some of the other. We finished here with all of that stuff, because then you would just put the ear pin in.
And then you finish riveting and put the ear wire on.
Oh, that's cool. I want to see some of the finished pieces that
These
you
are
brought.
amazing. These are amazing pieces done by Jack Barry.
So you can see you can have an array of necklaces of different shapes, and it's all about how you use just this one technique and then branch out to do other things. So if you get a little bit more daring. So we have the necklaces, and then also, of course, the earrings. And the earrings, you can see what I like about some of them is you've added beads to some, and then some of them it's just the bifold piece that you just kind of twisted.
He's done all kinds of techniques.
Yeah, that's perfect. Love it. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah. We'll be right back.